Hi, my name is Derek Rojas, and I'm here at Corona Del Mar Beach in Southern California. And for my You-pick assignment, I'm gonna go ahead and observe the small, tiny world of tide pools. So way back there, we got some rock lines. We're gonna take a walk and look around and see what we find. All right, well, before I go ahead and explore those tide pools, I used to think that it was just kind of little puddles of water. I know that there's, of course, invertebrate and some other small organisms that live there, but really tide pools are a delicate and tiny ecosystem. They're really abundant in algae, which provide a lot of food for a lot of the small invertebrate critters and fish that live there. You'll see sea stars, you'll see anemones, you'll see sea urchins, and all of those call tide pools their home. So I'm gonna go ahead and when I explore, be looking out for that and looking out for the algae, all those critters, and see this ecosystem at work. All right, so it's 10:52 in the morning here. So it's not exactly high tide, but it's not low tide here at the beach yet. So it's kind of at a medium tide, if that's really the word. But as I'm kind of observing here, I found a few small critters. So we see here some, looks like tiny mollusks. And I know some crabs kind of skittering around over there, but not so much activity over in this general area. And the one main important reason for that is water comes in and brings in lots of nutrients to these environments. And if this is kind of medium or high tide, there's not as much water coming in. Low tide areas, which will probably be over there, obviously get a lot of water, so there's going to be a lot more nutrients. There's probably going to be a lot more algae there as well. So I expect to see more activity during low tide, which is going to be around 3 o'clock today. That's when all of that should be opened up. As we can see here, there's not much algae, drier, because even high tide is still out in the sun. But even here, we'll still see small bits and pieces of life. So looking here, I actually found a snail, and it looks big and interesting, and if you pay attention to it, it moves every now and then. There's also little hermit crabs right next to it as well, but it's really interesting that there's activity already this high up away from the water. So I really can't wait to see what happens at 3 o'clock in low tide over in that general area. Alright, fun fact, I enjoy rock climbing on the side, so I use some rock climbing skills to get myself up here. And as we can see here, there's a lot less foot traffic. And as we can see, we already see some bigger clams and bigger animals here. I saw a few crabs, large ones too, skittering around. What's really interesting is when I go over to this side, and I look down that way, you'll see a lot of clams, oysters, mussels, all of those over that way. There's constant water coming in, lots of nutrients, lots of food, and pretty much untouched by humans. So I wish it was low tide right now. Actually, I don't even know if in low tide if all this would be available, but I can only imagine the kind of sea life that you can find in little pools here and there. But just right over there is a good example of what a real teeming, untouched tide pool ecosystem might look like. And I'm sure there's lots of crabs and lots of other small fish, snails living there as well. And there's little pools here and there too, among these rocks. As water comes in, it crashes. Just like right here, this little area. So even though tide pools are small areas, it may not seem like it, this whole rock is teeming with life. It has so many individual ecosystems. And I wish it was 3 o'clock already so I could see what's over there and get a closer look, I could technically rock climb my way over there, but I don't think that's really a good idea. Alright, well, I survived. I made it back all the way around from over there where I climbed. And as we saw, each rock has hundreds of mussels, clams, these little tiny organisms, and you can imagine all the life that's just in this one area alone. Never mind the whole coastline of California and just in countries all over the world. And that's why tide pools have such wide diversity, and tide pools are really truly their own small individual ecosystems. And with that, especially right there where I see that the water was truly cut off from the ocean, I think I got a good idea of what I might see in low tide when all of this has been cut off. So I don't think I need to stick around for 3 o'clock. It's got a few more hours until that. But This has just been exploration with Derek for my You-pick assignment.